Just a moment.
Dateline Hollywood, June 16th, 1995. The upcoming Judge Dredd movie starring Sylvester Stallone features to be a smash hit. To cash in on this, Probe and Acclaim make a tie-in video game out of it. Released 2 weeks before the film's debut, it loosely follows the plot of the film, except for the last few stages when it abruptly brings up other characters and places from the comics which don't appear in the movie, even though the credits refer to the game as Judge Dredd the movie. I'm okay with taking liberties to make the game better though, like making sure Rob Schneider's character doesn't show up at all.
Boy, am I glad to see you!
It's a side-scrolling action platformer in which you fight criminals and complete various objectives. The combat works by either shooting enemies, either with the default bullets or any array of picked-up secondary weapons, or a small assortment of melee moves, punches, kicks, Mortal Kombat-esque uppercuts, and headbutts. These attacks are so strong that sometimes they can vaporize enemies. You may not want to do that though. Enemies can be either killed or arrested using certain attacks or secondary weapons. Doing so gives a point bonus and sometimes confiscates an item or two from the perpetrator, who presumably gets carried away to an ISO cube. It works well, but sometimes you can either run out of secondary weapons to induce arrests, or have to do some bizarre shit to get enemies to surrender. This guy won't give up until you hit him with a damn grenade. How are you still alive and coherent enough to surrender? Some of them can't be arrested, though it's usually pretty obvious which ones, like the flamethrower guys or the ones that are on fire. Each level has a primary objective and a secondary objective. The primary one is necessary, but the secondary one isn't. It's usually just dealing with all the enemies in a stage anyway, so unless you really want the point bonus, it's not a big deal. It's easy to keep track of the mission progress and stats thanks to several terminals laid out across almost every stage. In several cases the terminals are part of the objectives, so you can end up killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Each level typically has 2 or 3 stages of it and a boss of some sort near the end. These guys tend to be extremely annoying to fight, and will likely chew through at least 1 life if you haven't stockpiled some decent secondary weapons. This game ticks most of the boxes for 90s platformers. All the controls feel alright, graphics are okay, no cheap fall damage mechanic, in fact no fall damage at all. Hit detection not only isn't an issue, but you can hit enemies while they're just off screen. The game is a decent length, so you won't end up beating it in an hour or 2 on the first playthrough. There are secrets to find extra ammo, lives, and health, but it does have its problems. The music is forgettable to the point that I just finished recording this game yesterday and can't remember a single track from it. There's a password system, but passwords only show up every 4 or 5 levels. There are only 3 passwords for the entire game. Bosses are disproportionately difficult to regular enemies, even considering that they're bosses. Some enemies need to be hit in particular spots, or they won't take damage at all. And you won't know that until after wasting time and secondary weapons shooting them elsewhere. And the last couple stages are almost completely trial and error as you try to figure out how to defeat the last couple bosses. I actually like Judge Dredd, this game, not the movie. But I can't say it's anything special. It's the kind of game that what it does right, it doesn't excel at, and what it does wrong, it doesn't fail miserably at. If ever there was a game to be the poster child for a 7 out of 10 rating, this would be it. But hey, that still makes it better than the movie it's tied to. But probably not as good as the more recent Dredd movie.
What are you doing? You hear what I said? I'll kill the bitch!
Yeah, I heard you, hotshot.
What?
I said, hotshot.
I dislike law enforcement with a vengeance. They're just bullies with the worst of intentions. Just a thought gets me and my friends so mad. Gonna find a cop and kick him in the gonads. I dislike law enforcement with a vengeance. They're just bullies with the worst of intentions. Just a thought gets me and my friends.
Well, if there's one thing this game has done that I haven't seen before, it's give a special thanks credit to a CD player.